So what do I think about Fallout 4? This is actually another topic or video idea that I had you guys vote on. I did this a couple days ago on this channel as well as on my Twitter, and I more or less asked you, hey, what videos do you want to see? I already made the top voted one, and this was the second highest one, so I figured I'd do this as a follow-up. It's something I really enjoy doing and something I would love to do in the future, so if you guys subscribe to this channel, you can participate in some of those votes going forward, or of course you can on Twitter. Either way, to actually delve into this video, Fallout 4, or how good of a game Fallout 4 is, has been a topic of much debate. If you actually looked at some of the major forums such as Reddit as well as just some of the official Bethesda forums following Fallout 4's release, people hated on the game hardcore. There definitely was a euphoric period following the immediate release of Fallout 4, but after people started to experience it for around 6 months or so, a lot of toxicity began and just all around people's opinions started to form. Without a doubt, Fallout 4 is different than any of the other iterations in the Fallout franchise. At face value, it may look very similar to something like Fallout New Vegas or even Fallout 3, but when you actually play through the game, it plays like a similar but distinctively different game. In my experience, I actually feel like Fallout 4 played a lot more like a game similar to Borderlands. Playing through Fallout 4, it really does feel like a proper loot and shoot. The best way to experience this game is to go from one place to another, take down different enemies, get some of their equipment or materials, and then upgrade your own equipment. Obviously, this was all present in something like Fallout New Vegas. You could do all of those things, it was just significantly worse. Fallout New Vegas was a more true-to-form RPG where it was story-driven. The combat, although enjoyable and definitely sometimes interactive, was not nearly on the level of Fallout 4's. The reason it seems like so many people, myself included, liked playing through Fallout New Vegas the first time, and then the second time, third time, fifth, sixth time, isn't because it was fun to shoot things. It actually isn't that fun to shoot things, especially going back to Fallout New Vegas coming off of Fallout 4. The reason we loved New Vegas so much was because of the choices you can make, and then those choices did have varying degrees of consequences, and there were so many different choices to make. You could play through Fallout New Vegas 3 different times on 3 different playthroughs and still not even get close to doing everything. That is a massive feat, and comparing Fallout New Vegas to Fallout 4, it truly feels like that world was something that you lived in and got to experience and explore. In Fallout 4, it doesn't feel quite like that. Although yes, the world and map is massive. There are a ton of places for you to go to, for you to loot, enemies to take down, enemies to become friends with, even people that you can romance with. But the major difference, at least for me, was a lot of those people you did interact with didn't feel as distinctive. There wasn't as many consequences, at least in my eyes. You become an ally of the Brotherhood, a general of the Minutemen, or even a railroad service member, all within a couple hours just by doing 1 or 2 quests. And you could be allied with all these factions at the same time until later parts of the game, or when you really started to progress into some of these quests. Your choices in Fallout 4 don't have nearly as much consequence, and I feel like that's actually a great analogy to make for the game as a whole. Fallout New Vegas is a great game and a great RPG, and a lot of people loved it. Fallout 4 is a great loot and shoot where you can experience different areas, and honestly, the first time around, the first time you experience everything in Fallout 4, it is pretty fulfilling. That replayability just simply isn't there when you compare it to New Vegas or even something like Skyrim. At the same time though, I honestly feel like it was an important step for the Fallout franchise. Yes, Bethesda definitely made some more convictions that they're probably proud of with Fallout 4, but what Fallout 4 did was simplify the system, simplify many of the elements of that game, and actually bring it to a much wider audience. That's not to say that New Vegas couldn't have done the same thing, but Bethesda made conscious decisions. They wanted to add in elements like weapon and armor customization to a whole new degree compared to New Vegas, and maybe dumping developers and money into that actually came at the cost of some of the quest or story elements of the game. Either way, money speaks, and Fallout 4 has sold more copies than any other Bethesda game. Even though the franchise was big before it, after this it is massive, and you could say without a doubt that the next Fallout game, and honestly probably just the next Bethesda game, is going to be a massive hit no matter what it is. I don't think Fallout 4 is a bad game, but I think it's something they have to learn from. Fallout 4 introduced new things into the formula that really made it a lot better. The combat system in Fallout 4, for me at least, is simply unparalleled. I honestly enjoy it more than some of the major first-person shooters that have been released over the past few months. Things feel fluid, and although there's a few quirks here and there, being able to actually fully break down each and every piece of equipment you do have, and actually be able to turn it into something that feels more personal to you and your uses is awesome, and I love that. And it has without a doubt actually changed modding. If you actually look at the mods coming out to Fallout 4 and compare them to some of the mods coming out for Fallout New Vegas, even though the modders have similar capabilities, the functionality that Bethesda implemented in this new game really shines there. Look at Fallout 4's web mods and compare them to some of the ones for Fallout New Vegas. It is very different, and the Fallout 4 versions are way nicer and more fun to use. But I honestly think that's largely my point with Fallout 4. When Fallout 3 came out, it wasn't the best game in the world, but it did something that was truly revolutionary and changed the lives of many gamers just because of how impactful it was. Fallout 4 definitely isn't on that same level, but it reiterated on a genre that was seemingly fleshed out. It gave us new experiences and gave us new ways to experience those same old stories. And some of the improvements it brings to the table, again, just think are unparalleled. If Bethesda releases a new spin-off, like a New Vegas 2 or a Fallout New Orleans, whatever it may be, and actually combines some of those amazing story elements with some of these new awesome features we got in Fallout 4, I honestly think it would be a near perfect game. But I honestly think if they don't do that, and the longer Fallout 4 remains is just the last iteration in the Fallout franchise, it will get worse with time. It's a cool game. It doesn't have nearly the replayability of Fallout New Vegas. That's why me and so many others actually went back to playing Fallout New Vegas, even though Fallout 4 is way more recent. I don't think it's a bad game, but I don't think it's a good game either. If anything, it almost feels like to me a proof of concept, a proof of how awesome this game could have been if they got the story right, but they didn't, so now they should try again and actually hopefully get it right. They spent a lot of time introducing a lot of these cool new systems, probably a little bit too much time, and that came at the cost of other aspects of that game. Now, the only way they could really make everything better, at least in my eyes, is for the next game to bring everything together as one nice, neat package. Honestly, one of my biggest disappointments for Fallout 4 was settlement mode. In Fallout New Vegas, I used to love playing with real-time settler, and when I saw some of the previews and the E3 trailer of settlement mode, I was so excited. Getting to build up your own towns and cities, maybe interact with other settlements, that seemed amazing, and I was seriously excited for it. I never use settlement mode in Fallout 4 by default. I use it occasionally now with sim settlements, but the regular one where you have to build everything up yourself, I literally only used that the first time I played through the game. They implemented this awesome system, but it came at the cost of some other aspects. There's barely any cool towns and cities in Fallout 4. The ones you actually can go to, you lag immensely. Honestly, at the end of the day, I think Fallout 4 brings a lot of cool and interesting stuff to the table, but it's an incomplete package almost. If they had an extra year to actually dig into and really flesh out the rest of the story and even the settlement mode, I think it could be a pretty much perfect game. Obviously, they didn't do that, and the DLC didn't do that either. So now I think my last hope for it and that franchise is they actually take some of those amazing ideas and concepts they introduced in this game, look at why Fallout New Vegas still remains so successful, and combine them in a new Fallout, whether that be Fallout 5 or something new entirely. Either way, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for me on this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was kind of a ranty one, and more informal, just hey, I'd throw this up because some of you guys wanted to see it. As always, again, thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.